Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Look at that! I am a big dumb idiot, aren't I? This video is part 3 of 4 of the Atoto MR2 Ringtool project. In the previous video we fitted a stealth oil cooler and then bedded in the LSD in a way that would make Clarkson's Farm fans appreciate the soggy residue that was left underneath. In this video we're going to be concentrating on the interior. We've got a bare shell at the minute pretty much. We've had the roll cage mounts welded in, we've painted it, but now we need to build back up what will hopefully be a nice place to be. We're going to be adding some functionality to the inside, some extra data logging and some lap timing functions. The key goal of a ring tool is something that goes fast on track, of course it is, but why not make something that's a little bit nice to drive to and from as well? And remember, I am driving this car to Germany. Before we get started, there's a little bit of info that was missing from the last video. It'll give us a little bit more context on the mood, without getting too depressed. So first of all, I went and retrieved my RECARO SPG out of Darkside's van. They did run a competition from this, but this was about 2 or 3 months ago and that's since ended, so never mind. So one of my friends, Matt, offered to paint the hardtop for me. So it was red and we're going to colour match it silver, red from the race car, remember? So Matt was filling in some of the gaps, we managed to find some filler, but this was a bit of a mistake. So we went into all of this effort, preparing and sanding and preparing and doing it properly, quote unquote. There he is, and we found some filler and we shouldn't have used it, basically. You'll see why in a minute. So I did actually start looking at the interior before actually starting this video officially. As you can see, it's in quite a state here and I've ripped out quite a lot of it and started to thin out the wiring loom. Then it was time to inflate the bouncy castle. This is a little portable spray booth that some of the lads up here share. Alright, not a huge amount of progress today, but Matt's got the roof ready to paint. He's obviously just got the booth up as well, fire in the booth. Charlie Sloth. My plan for now is to do as much as I can tonight. I've been helping Ned assemble his LS, which can only go well, of course. And yeah, I'm going to try and get this driving tomorrow. Probably just on the stock suspension now, and I do the suspension one day through the week, because, you know, there'll be no problems there, will there? Surely not. So I was trying to get my car ready here to go to some track days. I'd been invited to a couple and really wanted to get the MR2 back out on track, but just kept missing days. And then I even missed a full ring trip. But we got some presents here from J-Spec. These are some heater cores from a non-air conditioning car. We'll get to that later in this video. But yeah, unfortunately the paint reacted with the filler. Oh no. And then Matt actually waited a day, sanded it all away again, painted it again, and the same thing happened. But not to worry, it still looks pretty good on the car. I attended to some of the rust concerns underneath the car and then went to fit my exhaust and it didn't fit. So I wasn't really sure what was going on here. This exhaust obviously came off the race car, which had quite a lot of hits, and we're now fitting it to a quote-unquote straight car. And yeah, it just didn't line up right at all. So later in this video, we're going to make another visit to Darkside in the car, drive the car down there and get it fixed properly. But yeah, I wasn't feeling too good around this time, and yeah, everything kind of not working with the MR2 and realising that I wasn't going to be back at the Nürburgring when I'd hoped to be was becoming quite a drag. You need to have a little pause on the videos for a moment, por favor, because this is, I know you're not watching to hear me whinge, and I'll keep it brief, but just... So for 3 minutes or so here I'm whinging about things not working out, but let's not worry about that. I even started talking about taking the M3 to the Nürburgring instead, because in theory that could be a nice, easy, simple thing to do. More on that to come. If you've been following my Instagram, you'll know where that's gone recently. So sorry this video hasn't gone the way it could have gone, but yeah, this was just some stuff I forgot to include last time. Now let's get on with the interior. Now then, welcome back to MR2 Nürburgring preparation videos. The last video ended a little bit sad, a little bit down in the dumps. Yes, I am a man who gets upset sometimes. Anyway, nearly had this cut off today, but had guilty conscience and a sudden change of heart when I got in the barber's seat. Yeah, let's keep going with the Samson energy, not Sung, he's Korean. So in here, so as you can see, I've been through the looms. So we've got some gauges to put up here. We need to put some power down here for accessories, you know, phone charger, usual stuff, but we're also gonna have a little microcomputer in there which is going to deal with logging the outputs from our sensors into our race chrono lap time. So if you look there, oil pressure says 54 psi, and on here it says 11 psi, so that's not quite right. What's changed in here since last time you saw it? The shifter's now solid mounted, and yeah, there's quite a lot of wires that are no longer here. The aerial's gone. There's all the SRS loom, most of the SRS loom.
I never actually summarised in the video what I removed. So it was the SRS wiring loom, all of the pre-tensioners and stuff like that. It was the occupancy sensor on the passenger side, both of the seatbelt sensors on both sides, and some bits for the alarm. So nothing crazy like the M3, just making it a little bit neater and removing any wiring that was redundant, still keeping speakers and central locking and stuff.
So I was just, last night I was just stealing, this is a 7.5 amp fused wire from the SRS loom, which we're going to use to power a relay, to trigger a relay to come on, which will then activate the main power for the additional fuse box that I'm adding. This car had 3 fuse boxes already from the factory, and I figured one more wouldn't hurt. So we're going to have another fuse box for our accessories, which is going to be mounted down here where the airbag ECU was. The absolute life hack of opening up wiring looms is these things that are used in sewings, which we've covered it before. I can't remember the name, D-seam or something. I mean, see how there's a bit of tape on the bottom there? Just run that down it, and it just, hello. You can damage wires with it, you know, as I've found. You can damage quite easily, actually. You can do some damage, so you do have to be a little bit careful, but it's way less risky than you know, going down with a razor blade, because you know, you're not cutting in, you're kind of just running along the seam, and you're just, you know, cutting a line down the electrical tape. So this is the main wiring harness down the front. This connects to the fuel pump stuff. That goes to the ECU. I wasn't intending to save weight by removing things, right? I'm just, I'm doing a bit of wiring anyway. And obviously we're adding weight with gauges and stuff, so. All right, so we get the old loom opener 5000, right? We try and find somewhere where we think we're not gonna have any issues. You can tell by the kind of gradient on the tape, the shadow, like where some of the wires are on the outside. Like there's a big blue one here. We don't want to cut into that. I'm gonna try and run alongside it and just let the tool find its own way, not trying to force it, otherwise we'll end up cutting wires. There's quite a lot of wires in the way there. Let's try going from the other side. So I'm trying to keep it at like sea level. I'm trying not to dig in, because I don't want to dig into any wires. There we go. And it's open, and we didn't damage anything. Right, the other side, quite a lot of on the standard wiring loom, you'll find wires that are like too long. So what they do is they just bend them back on themselves. Thanks, Toyota. This red wire here is the signal to turn my master relay on. So I'm going to integrate that ever so slightly. So the actual wiring that runs down here will stop up here somewhere, because we want to integrate the gauge wiring into that. Just notice this bit of airbag loom is still attached here, obviously, for where the clock spring goes. How does the horn work on these? Found that on the steering wheel, so I guess that goes there. And whenever that's earthed, it must sound the horn, so we'll get a horn button for that. Okay, so that's the horn, we need that. So to set the clock spring, so it's got 5 turns, it's 2.5 each way, so half, 1, 2. So now that's set where it needs to be. I wonder if I have a horn anywhere. The Civic has a Honda horn. This will do for now. Right, I'm going to look at integrating the gauge wiring now, which is all of this. Yeah, it's quite a bit. It's maybe not as bad as what it looks, but being a mid-engine car, we're going to have to extend all of these wires, so that'll be fun. Let me just have a quick tidy up.
Right, so I'm adding 3 gauges to the car. One's for the oil pressure, one is for the oil temperature, and the third one is for the air-fuel ratio. So all 3 of those gauges are quite important. So we've got air-fuel ratio. The reason I wanted that is because the MR2 uses a MAF, which is super sensitive to any changes, and you can also gauge how well the car is doing from the AFR, from the MAF changes, right? Because we are going to be pissing about with air filters. Oil temperature, I want to make sure my oil cooler is doing its job. And oil pressure is obviously a good way to make sure the engine's healthy and is not struggling in any of the corners. The MR2 doesn't have a baffled sump from the factory. It does have a little kind of tray around where the oil pickup is. Some people have issues with this on track. I haven't ever monitored any, and none of the MR2 championship cars that I know of have experienced any issues with the stock sump. But that is up for discussion, I'm sure, maybe in the comments. Right, I've just started looking at the actual wiring to the gauge itself, not the sensor wiring, right? Kind of annoying how they're all different lengths. Why is that not standardized? Sure, whatever. But there's only 4 outputs, normally anyway, which is just power and ground to the sensor, and then you've got your 5-volt signal outputs, which we're going to put into a little computer. But for the AFR gauge, there's actually more. So there's those 4 over here, and there's 2 more with stripy lines, zebra ones. I need to find out what they are. So I've been using Chat GPT or whatever it is a lot lately for loads of stuff. It's interesting because like it just told me there that this 7-wire harness was a 4-wire harness, and then I told it no, actually it's a 7-wire harness. It was like, oh yeah, actually it is a 7-wire harness. I was like, all right, thanks. Just a little side note on that, I know a lot of you are still quite cautious on this stuff. It's only as good as what you give it, I think. You have to know a little bit about what you're talking about, right? Just to validate its responses, I guess. Slight tangent, I was using it later in this video to build a little computer to do the gauge information, right? To send the gauge data to Race Chrono, and yeah, I was on a right goose chase with it because I knew a little bit about what I was looking at, but not enough to start writing the code and stuff. And yeah, long story short, it took me down a right goose chase with this board, and then I finally asked it, hey, is this board the right board? And it said, no, there's tons of better boards. That's all the radio wiring. Another wire that we have to install is going to be the power to the fuse box. So I bought this 12 gauge wire to do that. It's quite a nice wire actually. But that's just going to come directly from the battery. I should probably install a battery. Well, I got on with installing the battery again. We're using a deadweight battery once again here. Deadweight are supporters of the channel and have been for a couple of years. This is their currently smallest battery, TUG 200, TUG 200. It's less than 2 kilos in weight, and it's got enough juice to start even the M3. So it's more than enough in the MR2. I've actually got the Australian version here. I've mounted it upside down, something of course that you can only do with a lithium battery. The standard battery on the MR2 was about 14 kilos, so yeah, 12 kilograms saved just from swapping the battery. And also we've got that relay from the BMW, which, hey, the jury's out on that one. You'll see in the Nürburgring vlogs I have a little bit of trouble, but that's to come. I also got the fuse box installed, which sits just behind where the radio is. Forgot to video it though. Right, we've got a very exciting parcel arrive from the Rogue Motorsport. There we go. So this in here should allow us to put the standard heater box back in without the big box in the middle, which we don't want. So if you're having this problem as well, you know who to contact. Rogue Motorsport make... Oh, look at this. Look at how well packaged it is. We wasn't expecting this. Polystyrene. Where's my knife? That's not a knife, it's a spoon. That kind of worked. Okay, so this is something that they make in-house, and it allows us to sandwich these two together. I was thinking about cleaning this out because, you know, it's the heater, right? And these cars don't have a pollen filter or a, what do they call it? Not the pollen filter. It is a pollen filter, but what do they call it? Cabin filter? I don't think they do anyway, but look at how damaged it got just from me picking it up wrong earlier. That was just my hands, just very light finger pressing, you know. But anyway, this is the most exciting part because once this is in, we can start putting everything else in. Yeah, this must go over this here. How does it go? Over this here, over this here, over that there, I think. So we have a little bit of screwy to do, but yeah, let's do this first, and then everything else, all the wiring that we were doing last night, we can all, you know, the puzzle can start coming back together, and the vision, you know, it's all going to look a lot less scary soon if you're getting scared. So some MR2 knowledge for those who are interested. If you've got an aircon car or a non-aircon car, that black box that I just pulled out of this cardboard box, that has a little condenser radiator in it for the aircon, right, to cool the air. If you have a non-aircon car, then that's what's in my hand now, where it's just got this big hole, right? The reason this is a problem for me is not just because I want to delete the aircon, or I have deleted the aircon, but having that box in the middle pushes the actual blower motor out where the cage is, and I can't mount my roll cage whilst the heater blower motor is where it would be from the factory position. So that's what this plate from Rogue Motorsport enables us to move. It gets rid of that black box in the middle. It does also cause some slight concerns for the glove box, which we'll attend to later as well. You can still have an operable glove box, but you do lose a little bit of capacity, but we'll get to that.
Right, I've been playing this for a couple of minutes now, you could say. I think I've figured out what we need to do. I think we have to modify the standard heater box. There's like a ridge here. I think we need to get rid of that. But the good news is we can test, because Mr. J-Spec sent us another one, right? So we have this spare here, and I think if we get rid of that ridge along the top, I think we'll have a much better time trying to do what I'm trying to do. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, we need this to be flat. Multi-cutting tool would be nice. I don't want to use a flat wheel because that'll just melt the plastic into each other, won't it? Alright, we get the idea. We'll be a bit nicer when we do it for real if this is it. But I think that should work now. Okay, so we'll probably want to mount this to this first. And I think it's supposed to go like that. So this plate actually fits in there. Pretty nice. That way. Where it should go on the orientation now of the other guy.
Just for everyone's reference, this is not a part that they sell to the public, right? They sent me it to help me out. I'm sure if there was demand, maybe they'd sell it with some instructions instead, but yeah, I figure it out, don't worry.
Hey, if you're wondering why I'm bothering with all this, why am I not just putting my race heater in out of the race car? OEM heaters are just good, reliable and work. I never had an issue with my race heater, but all the race heaters are the demister, right? I'm going to be driving this car a lot on the street as well, and you know, it's nice to have the adjustability, and obviously the aircon's long gone. We're deleting it now, aren't we? I would have liked to keep the aircon even if that was plan A, but the aircon didn't make it, unfortunately.
Alright, so now we're on with doing it for real, quote unquote. Maybe it seems a bit wasteful on reflection to waste the other blower motor, but I had them both at my fingertips, right, and I'm probably only going to do this once, so yeah, I'm taking more care this time. As you can see, I've taped up the entrance to the motor, so hopefully we don't get any plastic shards making a mess of that. So I'm trying to make sure this surface is as flat as what it can be, so that there's no pressure loss, there's no air loss from the blower motor into the actual blower unit.
I'll probably get away with that. Maybe there's a bit of bathroom sealant or something.
But whilst I was doing this, I remembered I had a secret weapon.
I do have a secret weapon though.
So if you missed it in the previous video, I had a bit of a splurge after selling the black M3. I got myself an air compressor, some air tools, and also something that I'd had my eye on for a while, and I wanted to try and get the Parkside one down the middle of Lidl, but could never find it for sale. Ended up getting the Clark version. So this is just a simple bench grinder. It's not a hugely powerful one, but it does have a belt sander.
Yeah. Not perfect, but it's pretty good.
Another tool that I'd recently bought, which I wanted to try out, was some countersinking drill bits. Some drill bits that you can use to make countersunk holes. They were rubbish. I'll have to buy some better ones. The final job for this plate was to just mount some riv nuts in the top. I ended up using M4, which I don't think I ever have before, very small. This ended up causing a problem later on, just where the riv nuts sit proud a little bit, so maybe some countersunk ones would have been better, but nothing a bit of sealant couldn't fix. The only thing left to do now is to mount the adapter plate to the blower motor, and then we can install both into the car as one. Alright, it's time to mount this in the car. And once again, I'm going to block off your view, aren't I? Oh, what if we do my windscreen's not the cleanest. I can't really see where to drill the holes for these riv nuts. I'm kind of excited about getting to use the M4 riv nuts that I've owned since I was 16 though. The M6 screws, sorry, that I've owned since I was 16. Yeah, that was potentially going to be quite a good camera angle, but then I obviously stuck a torch in front of it. But I'm just trying to mount this now, right? I need to try and mount it. Is that camera the torch in your way, is it? I don't need it anymore anyway. Can you see the holes? Yeah. So I ended up drilling these mostly blind. I kind of marked it from the top, but then I drilled it from underneath because I couldn't get the drill on the top. But yeah, let's see if it actually lines up. Okay, let's see if we get 3 out of 3. Alright, that's like 1.5. It's looking pretty good. Okay, hey, it's all looking very similar, isn't it, so far? But it's now time to start building back. Build like Boris said, build back better, or whatever he said. Yeah, we're going to start building back now. Now the heater's in. First job, we need to give it some power, which is annoying because I've already just taped that up the other day, didn't I? I just taped that up the other day. This is the power lead. So we'll give it some power, shall we? There's another power lead there for something. I thought that was to power this, but that must be to... Maybe it's something to do with the heater matrix or something. We've lost the aircon, but I don't think I mean, let's have a look. I don't think this guy has any power going into him, does he? Oh, he does. Interesting. What would that be for? Because we no longer have that. Is that like an aircon? That's to do. Oh, it goes into the. I think some kind of aircon switch, which we don't have anymore. Oh, that would have been a very nice power feed to steel in that case. I'll have a quick look at the wiring diagram, but that would have been, you know, rather than, I mean, I bought the wire and stuff to run my own power feed to the fuse box, but look at that big chunky wire there. That might be a good power for our fuse box. I'm going to have a look at what that is, and if it is aircon, then yeah, we'll steal it, shall we? Okay, interesting. I'm perhaps showing my lack of mechanical knowledge a little bit here. So, interesting update. This guy, do you know what that is? Because it's in the non-AC as well. Do you know what that is with its thick wire that we are not going to steal? Because that is the fan, the blower motor resistor, right? What that does is measures. I mean, I've just tried to learn this, so maybe I'm getting this wrong, but it gets real hot, right? Because it's a big resistor. Allows you to run the fan, the blower, at different speeds. So, you know, on the MR2, you've got the knobs 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 1, 2, 3, and off. Basically, without that resistor, we'll have nothing or everything. Nothing or everything, which in a race car, pretty good, right? This is a ring tool, my friend. We want it to be nice on the road too. So, long story short, chaps, I am going to try and retrofit this somewhere. So we've got 2 of them, of course. Thanks, Mr. J Spec. We've got 2 of them, and it's a shame I've just sealed that up and everything, and it's all on nice and that. But we're going to try and retrofit. Maybe if I just put it like in the side here, it'll be all right. Is that where so the air comes in there? Does it come out of here? Must do, right? I don't know. That would obviously be easy because I can get to that. We can't really. We can't. I mean, there's a bit of an open chamber in here, but I really don't want to open that back up. I mean, it's not a big job, but maybe we'll try it here and see if it works. Yeah, maybe we want to, do we want to block that off? Maybe? I don't know, I'll have a think. But yeah, I'm going to try and mount it there. The wiring will just about reach. Yeah, we'll try and keep this because I want it, I still want variable fan speed. Yes, please. Got some of the blue death going on here. Look at that. All right, I got the box out. We need to do this properly. A nice place to mount this is probably going to be here as the blower motor exit towards the other HVAC unit. We can't go in those trapdoors that I mentioned because, well, because of that basically. Yeah. See the problem? So yeah, 1 step forward and 2 steps back. The wiring for it, I'm just investigating that now. So it seems like it gets the main power from the fuse box, which makes sense. The rest of the wires go that way, so this might be a little bit annoying to try and extend the wiring, but because I don't have, I've got some 12 gauge wire there, but this is like 10 or maybe even 8. Oh, it says on it, does it? No. Although I tell you what, we do have over in the corner over there is another MR2. So that's still here. I've not scrapped it yet because of things like this. Fucking Bowden cables everywhere. Is that what you call them, Bowden cables? I've got that in my head, I don't know. So the wiring when the car's good to go is going to be like up here, and that'll be up there, and that wire for the blower motor wants to be like twice as long as it is. The only thing is, obviously, that car has been ripped to shreds, but let's go and have a look, see if we can, because that'll be the best way, just get the factory wiring and extend it that way. That might have to come out of the scrap bin as well. Luckily, it's still there. So obviously, there's a chance that this doesn't exist anymore in this car, but maybe I left it. So that's the power feed, and the rest of the wires. So in this car, I had a little race heater that I just plumbed directly into the heater matrix, and they have a little 12 volt blower motor. I think it's a T7 one that I had, and yeah, that just, I had it vented quite well. I never had one issue with getting fogged up or anything, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I did. There's this other little guy, I don't know what it's doing, but it looks like it's coming along for the party. A lot of people don't like using insulation tape, I like chicken's tape, but look at Toyota, they fucking love it, man. So that is everything apart from this green and brown that we don't really know what it is yet, but that's the loom that we wanted, so that's good. Thank you, Spider-Merd. While I'm here, I'll see if I can, is the wiring still here to extend the blower motor? Look, even factory Toyota wiring has these connections which are just literally taped over, and it's a crimped connection inside, so it's a proper connection inside, but look, not heat shrink, tape. Factory Toyota. I found loads of it on the other car as well. I got myself good yesterday when I was drilling those tiny little screws in. I can't show my injuries on YouTube because they don't like blood, but it was one of them where I drilled into my finger, screwed into my finger, felt it crunch, and I looked, and it didn't bleed, and I was like, that's weird. And then like 30 seconds later, it just started gushing blood. It was mad, but you're not allowed to show blood. In fact, I don't even talking about blood might be bad. Talking about injury. It's not very advert safe, you see. Oh, you can talk about it, but just don't show the blood, because it's not very safe, you know, on our adverts. You've got to show adverts and that, you know, it's how the world works. You know, you've always had adverts in your magazines and that. Did you not know that's how magazines operate? Off advert revenue. It's not you buying it, you know. That's just a small fucking contribution to their income. The real money comes from their advertising. Do you not heard that Jay-Z song? Right, so that is the same connector for the resistor. Also got this brown, I'll try and figure out what that is, the brown and green. 2 wires the same thickness as that, not one big and one small. But I don't think we need that much, so maybe we can just cut that in half. And yeah. My connectors are coming from the Bezos man anyway, getting delivered up the road, so whenever they arrive I'll go and get them and then we can proceed. They've been delivered 7 minutes ago. Let's go to the shop. Yeah, I got a little bit distracted, but we now own an oscillating
oscillating tool because they were on offer and we need one, so that's good. We don't need one, but we might be able to do the job nicer with one. Okay, I've also been to the tip. Just gonna have a quick look at the stuffs that I've bought. So you might have heard me talk about reducing the amount of racing this year. That's obvious. We're doing a lot of Nürburgring stuff instead, but racing's good, right? But it's such a huge cost, and the Nürburgring's not cheap. I've been meaning to buy one of these for a while. I think it could be a very useful tool to have in the roster. Yeah, so you might have noticed that I'm putting some money into the barn a lot lately, and there's more stuff to come. Obviously, I've just sold the black M3, so that helps. Can I have a knife, please? I didn't buy these were a gift, but they're so good. They're all white, but you know, they still work good. I got a new battery because I've got one that's been broken forever, and I thought, someone told me we can buy battery cases online, because this is, you know, I dropped it and broke it. Someone said, I've not been able to find them. Or some people just buy like knockoff batteries and just use the case for it and take the innards out, but whatever. These were on offer. They're so expensive batteries, right? But these were on offer. I've had this other one for like 5 years or something, and this has had a few tumbles as well, but you know, it's pretty good. Yeah, I've been buying some tools, right? And I've been buying lots of stuff for the MR2 you've seen, and I've got a big shopping list, which is growing and growing and growing for the blue M3 as well. Right, this one I'm excited about, because this is apparently like prosumer maybe grade. They're just electrical crimps, right? So all of this, right? How much do you reckon I paid? So we've got 540 various. We've got a good crimp kit, a good size, nice looking case, some heat shrink, and then some of those solder connectors, which I don't know how I feel about using solder on race cars because it gets shunned a lot. But that lot, imagine you're buying that on Amazon, what are you going to spend, 20, 30 quid? That was £89, right? So, I'm obviously going in with the please be suitable for my motorsports application, which they claim, you know, they claim these are the good quality. Like, this is apparently really good heat shrink. I know it's just heat shrink, right? But hey, I've been buying so much stuff off Amazon lately, and some of it's been so shite. So don't fucking drop them on the floor. Yeah, they feel pretty nice. I'm just judging it by the heat shrink, and everything's copper walled, is it? What do they call it? What do they call it? Copper, pure tinned copper, pure, as they say in Geordie land. Kangaroo, jumpa, pure. Oh, and I got some extra wide insulation tape as well to put that loom back together. Look at that, chungus. Well, this is the typical stuff that I normally get off Amazon, right? I just go on and order ring terminals. I get a box of ring terminals, but like the heat shrinks, well, it's not heat shrink for a start. It's super hard and they're just real chintzy, right? Not motorsports. Right, so I think a good place for this resistor to go is going to be here. So it would normally just be on the other side of that anyway. So this is the factory one. That's where the resistor would go anyway. So it's not too far away from where it is from the factory. So how this mounts. Oh, interesting. Well, not interesting. I find it interesting. Wait there. So my cars are 2005, right? But most of the other cars we've had parts from have been pre-facelifts. So Toyota changed the screws. So I've seen this along a lot of different stuff, right? But especially this fan resistor, right? See how one's like zinc coated and one's presumably stainless? It's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, we need to find a place where this can go in. Ideally would have been that way. So I've just drawn around the actual resistor itself. The plate's actually bigger than the resistor. So in theory, if we just cut out enough room for that to go in there, then it should just work. And that's as far out as I can get it, because there's screws here, obviously. Right, I'm going to try the oscillating tool. Oh. It's like playing bagpipes. How are you supposed to cut corners with it? Or do you just not? Okay. Perfect person. Found an attachment for a sander. This is fun, isn't it? What a tool. Quite a lot of shit in there. Let me just blow it out with my air compressor. Okay, that's pretty clean.
To save you looking at this for any more time, yeah, I just installed some nut and bolts now, so it's not going to come out. I was a little bit worried that the self-tappers weren't self-tapping enough, so yeah, that's why I nutted and bolted it. And remember, this is a Ringtool that I've just spent a fair amount of time there installing a blower motor resistor so we can have variable fan speed, because that's what this channel's about, apparently.
Alright, let's get this back in then. So what we'll do is we'll plug the other MR2's loom into it. Just gonna, as soon as we've got all nice new tape, I'm just gonna retape it a little bit. So we'll plug this in. No, it's gone in. So we'll mount it, and then we can. Oh, what's this? Oh look, Toyota again with this. They've taken the power to something else as well. Toyota, why are you doing this all the time, man? I don't really just want that blowing in the wind because I don't know what it is. That's my trouble. Interesting that they do this. Toyota, the manufacturer of the world's most reliable cars, maybe.
Of course, I'm only saying it's interesting because this was the time before Instagram, right? If you posted that stuff online these days, that you'd done it yourself, you'd get ripped to shreds. I, of course, still do this all the time.
Just gonna cut this off. We'll put some heat shrink around it and pretend we never saw it. That's it, just go until that comes out. It's only on 2 bar. That's probably enough. Come on, we need to get through this car today. I need to have this engine, this interior done today. It's already like 3 o'clock. Another thing I'd like to do, it's not necessary, but we want to do a tether from here, where the old mounting would be, down to here.
Yeah, I did end up doing that, but I didn't film it.
Just a little tether, obviously Nürburgring and thing.
Alright, I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. So I'm just wiring in the resistor wiring now. I'm putting a bit of extra sealant around where the heater blower motor meets the box. What do they call a box in the middle? There must be a technical term, but the one that diverts the air around. And now I'm just finishing off some other little bits of wiring as well. And then this is going to be almost done. I'm taking the power trigger here as well from the SRS, like I mentioned at the start. And there's a little fuse box which you can't quite see, but it's just in front of that central blower motor. There's a little fuse box. But yeah, that was 45 minutes that I just skipped forward through.
Alright, the old camera reached its recording limit, but I'm going to start the car up. I've not started it up for a while. See what we'll see if it starts, and then see if yeah, you know, the usual. Alright, it should start up, but the engine's not been run yet since the oil cooler was installed. I mean, I hope I've got oil pressure. Let's make sure we've got oil. I've not started the car since doing any of the wiring work, so let's first of all see if the cut-off switch works. Sounded like it worked. Clocks are coming on. Notice there's no beeping because, you know, I removed the buzzer. Not hearing a fuel pump. So I've got a handbrake warning light, an airbag light, and an engine management light. There's also no air filter on it. I'm going to try and get rid of that airbag light. So with the airbag, I grounded something which I thought it would need grounding for the airbag light not to come on. But the car seems to disagree about that, so let's unground this wire and now see what happens. So now hopefully no airbag light. Oh, ignition.
So for a bit of context here, this is the signal from the airbag ECU. It either sends a ground or not a ground to the cluster to tell it whether or not to illuminate the light, the warning light.
Engine management light's probably because there's no MAF connected, right? No airbag light. Hell yeah. So just watch, the airbag light will come on when I ground this. And go off. And come on. And go off. And come on. And go off. Okay, that's cool.
So this is pretty interesting because if you go for an MOT, the tester's going to check if that light comes on and then goes off. So if I want to get really creative, I can probably make that light come on and then go off. But all we're doing is sending a signal to the cluster to say that the SRS system is healthy or not, which is something the SRS ECU would do if it existed.
Alright, let's work out the horn while we're here too. There we go. Where's that horn button? Yeah, so if I ground out either one of those two, if I ground out either of those, the horn comes on, so we'll just ground it to the boss, wherever it is. So what I'll do is, what will I do? Maybe I'll solder a wire into the, what's that made of? Steel? Can I solder to that? Or I can maybe do into the back of here with another M5. Maybe not actually. Oh, it doesn't even fit in the wheel anyway. Waste of time. That'd have been nice though, wouldn't it? That'd have been cool. I need to find another horn. But yeah, car started up, so that's nice, isn't it? All right, we need to speed up. It's 4:30. No, it's 4:45. I've just spoken to Darkside, and they thought I were coming down tomorrow for a dyno, which I would like to be, but are we gonna get this? Are we gonna get this happy in time? I don't know. We can probably just at least bolt the seat and a seat belt in and drive it down, I guess. Trailer's not really commissionable at the minute, but yeah, I just need to go fast. I might have another Monster Energy. This is doable, but I need to be fast. I'm not very good at fast. Fasting I'm quite good at. Not fast, going fast. This is going to take a long time, but I need to concentrate, so I'll see you on the other side.
Alright, I'm not going to the dyno. Oh well. Hey, we're back. We're back. Oh, a little bit of, I know, I said it, I'm trying to video stuff on the phone. I know it's real quiet. I've got so much dust in the speaker and that. I've been trying to clean it, but it won't come out. I'm going to have to buy a new phone. I think buy a new phone. That'll be nice, won't it? Thanks. Yeah, probably is. If I'm using it to make videos, it probably is one of those, isn't it? All right, well, I've cancelled Darkside, and it's a bank holiday weekend, so they're not open Monday anyway, so I've got 3 days again now. I've got 3, this was the original plan. I've got 3 days to get everything back together. I'm just going to continue without setting up the camera for now. I got the sensors in last night and wired. I need to extend the loom for the oil pressure and oil temperature. I'm doing that just now, obviously, right mess, but once that's done, I could just throw it all back together, but now we've got those extra days. I'm also going to wire up some USB sockets and stuff as well, and this will all come together. But by the end of today, interior in, and yeah, I need to put the standard. I was going to drive to Darkside like this, and it's about 40 miles from here. Yeah, my exhaust is just cable tied and hangers. Not a good idea. I'm going to put the standard exhaust back on. In fact, let's do a little bin diving session. Let's do a little bin diving session. Damn, you're heavy. You thick girl. Hey, look at this. Reflections. I'm not sure what that center reading is on that. Maybe it's something else. The oil's 66, can't be 66, it's just started. What's that reading? Should read the instructions, but power good. The wideband's not plugged in. No warning lights, other than the doors, which I've actually wired in, or just about wired in. The door sensors, OEM plus, hell yeah. Fuse box is working, relay's working. So we've got power coming from the relay, so it's relayed into a relay. All fused and everything. Oil pressure looks good. Been idling for a couple of minutes. Well, before I was doing some testing before, so it's not stone cold. Yeah, I wonder what that 70 is. I need to look into that. I can't believe I had to read the instructions for this, but I did. What do you reckon that number is? Americans will know. 73, yeah. Apparently if we press this for 3 seconds, it'll change to... Yeah, there we go. So it's actually 23, which is about right, because that's 19 in here at the minute, so that makes sense. Cool. Functional. All right, we're back in the room with the proper videos now. Come to a bit of an impasse. Is it an impasse? I've got several plates spinning, and each job that I need to do now, such as fit the roll cage, carpet, dashboard, finish the wiring, each of them could be done in a certain order which benefits the other one. And whichever order I pick is going to cause some of the other jobs to be more difficult, right?
if I put the roll cage in first, then it's going to be difficult climbing around the car and, you know, just doing everything with the roll cage, and it's going to be more difficult. I can't put the carpet in yet until I finish the wiring really, but I also want to put the carpet in now so that I can get an idea of where the cage is going to go around it and stuff before I fit the roll cage. And the dashboard, well, we've got two dashboards. One's already cut for this roll cage, but it's also got some things in it that are not ideal, so I'd rather use the original dashboard again. And I've got some more USB power and stuff to wire in off that fuse box, but I can't do any of that. I can't get the dashboard in really until we know where the roll cage is going to go, kinda. Basically everything's waiting on something else, so I thought of a little kind of middle ground where I'm going to put the rear roll cage in, the rear hoop, which is going to be a bit of a task on my own, but I'll have a go. So we can tidy up and finish the wiring at the back with the cage in, because it has to be in, otherwise we won't know where to route things properly. Router. And then we can put just the front legs. We can put just the front legs in and not put the door bars or the crossy things in yet. And then hopefully the dash and then the carpet. I think that's going to be the way to do it, so let's do it. Need to be really careful of the battery and the relay, because if I put it in the wrong way, then if I get it tilted wrong, it'll have a bad time basically. I'm also not massively keen on the negative lead that I've got on the battery. I might just double check that before we get started. I might be able to improve that. I don't know if it's because it's wrapped in tape or what, but just the integrity of it feels weird. UK Motorsport, you've got to wrap these well, you've got to have some yellow tape on it. It looks like I've put the full reel on this, so I'm just going to take the tape off and see if it feels better. Alright, it's a lot happier, so see if it's happier on the car. Also, how do we feel about this? Because I'm not happy, but Ed reckons it's fine and leave it. So you know, it's all good having a bare metal surface, but we don't want rust. Maybe we can coat it in an oil or something, a conductive oil, or just paint it and hope it earths through the bolt. I guess I could throw some paint on after it's bolted down. Why not use that stud that's just there? It's not the right size, but still. I mean, it's not terrible, but it definitely could be better. We either use that stud or get rid of it. I think we get rid of it. Any excuse? Ha 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 ha. Just remembered I got a touch-up pen, so we'll just paint around it. Not great, but it's better than rust.
Right, so we're on to fitting the roll cage now, just the rear hoop for now. This ended up being a really long task. It took me absolutely ages to get this back in, mostly because the bolt holes just weren't lining up properly. I ended up having to bore them out ever so slightly, open the holes up a little bit to get the bolts through the plates, and so much messing about. My theory is that maybe we didn't have the cage bolted in fully when we were doing the other mounts or something like that. So we must have done something or forgot about something so that the bolt holes just didn't quite line up where they should have done. Just, you know, a millimetre, half a millimetre here and there, and it was just a pain in the ass. But yeah, luckily I got the ratchet strap method came through. I had to open up a couple of the holes, but I got it in there in the end.
Back in the room. Back in the room. Marge? Homer? I tried to do Marge saying Homer, but then did Homer saying Marge. No, I didn't. Man, I'm feeling it lately. I don't know if you've noticed. Why do I do this again? Well, anyway, the roll cage is in, just about. There's still the door bars, the windscreen frame, and there's another frame that goes here as well. Yeah, this took some paint off getting that on it, as per usual. I might maybe try and put a little bit of paint on that, but anyway, I'm gonna tidy, and then dashboard, I think. Dashboard before carpet or carpet before dashboard? It might be carpet before dashboard. Let me ponder that for a moment. All right, welcome back. It's actually the day after, and it's well into the day after as well. It's just ticking on for 9 o'clock at night. I've been here since 7 AM, and I wish I had more to show for it, but I don't. The dashboard's in, hopefully for the last time. I had quite a lot of issues getting the roll cage in still. Mounting the dash, the new gauge pod thing was way more effort than, I mean, maybe I made it way more effort than what it needed to be, but the dash is, it's not in by any means. It's just resting. I'm just gonna do some checks and make sure things are happy, but hopefully this is the last time, because I've had it out and in probably 5 or 6 times throughout the night, and yeah, I spent most of the day doing the gauge pod stuff. So hopefully that's going to be all good. Finished off like the wiring and made it neat, and well, tried to make it neat. Yeah, really don't have a lot to show for the hours, unfortunately, and feeling pretty down about it, but you know, still not driven the car. Oil cooler and gearbox still completely untested. Meant to be driving to Darkside tomorrow to get the exhaust fixed. Need to put the old exhaust on still. Still need to do the car's LSD braking. Still need to obviously get the seat and the harness and everything like that in. It should be downhill from here in theory, because, you know, we're just fitting parts, right? We're just fitting parts now. Everything should be quite easy. This heater box is in the way a little bit of the support for the glove box. I don't know whether I should just take a little sliver out of it. I want to keep the glove box. I think it might just squeeze on, but I don't want if the glove box might be misaligned. And the pull cable, which you might just be able to see for the frunk, or for the bonnet, or whatever you want to call it, just figured out now, thanks to Mr. Toke Time, went and checked his car. Yeah, it mounts to the airbag, the passenger airbag, and obviously I don't have that anymore, so I'm pretty spent on trying to fabricate stuff. Me not fabricator in it. So I think I'm just gonna put some cable ties in for now, and I think that's where it needs to sit, but we'll wait till we get the glove box in. The next kind of predicament that I've got is going to be like heater controls and stuff, because now the heaters themselves have moved. This cable's now way too long, so I can either shorten it and try and replicate, there's like a little S on the end of it, or we can just keep it long, but then try and, you know, pull it out of the way slightly, and that'll cause it, you know, to bind up perhaps, and not be as easy to change the heaters. A lot of time and effort was spent yesterday as well on the wiring at the side, on the bottom of the A-pillar where the cage mounts. I didn't actually rewire anything, but from the factory these cars have like a mounting block, like a connection block, which joins the front and the rear kind of looms together. On the Racer, I just, you know, cable tied it to it and had enough of it, but the old thing that's been slowing, apart from me, the thing that's been slowing everything down on this has been trying to make things that will last the Nürburgring, right? Reliably, you know, tisming a bit as well, of course, but just trying to reliably last on the Nordschleife. So my next challenge, the next struggle, is going to be figuring out the heater controls, I think. So you're welcome to join me. We'll do some videos again. It's about time I got back on with the videos. I've been hiding a little bit, but we're back, yeah.
So if you remember earlier, I said there was going to be a little bit of fuckery when getting the glove box on. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm having to modify the back panel to fit around where the blower motor now lives. And then when we get to the glove box, we've got to hack that a little bit as well, but it's still usable.
Well, that half an hour timer really goes fast. Time flies when you're having fun.
So we're starting to piece the dashboard back together now, starting with the heater control panel.
Yeah, so I've not really got any idea how this works. Lots of resistors and stuff going on here. I think that's the heat. So how hot do I want it? That's probably full hot all the way to the right, full cold to the left. So that cable must go to the heater matrix. So that is that one, I think. And there's a pulley on the back. It looks like the cables must sit in these clips.
Right, I'm going to speed up the video once again here, because you may or may not be surprised to know that the total time elapsed between these clips towards the end of this little segment was 2 hours and 18 minutes. I think either the battery or the memory card ran out on the camera by that point, but as you can see, I've had the dashboard in and out. I'm trying to figure out how these Bowden cables should work. And what I'm not realizing is that one of them is bent slightly, it's kinked slightly, which is giving me a lot of grief. I finally figured that out towards the end, and it turns out that from this, we can still have the heater control, and we can still have the blower motor control, that's electric. We can still have the option of letting fresh air in from the outside or recirculating the air inside. even though both of those options now do the same thing. But what we can't do is adjust where the air goes very well. I think I was able to get it either on my toes or on the windscreen. But yeah, this I spent a lot of time, over 2 hours I spent here pissing about with these Bowden cables.
Hey, so I had a bit of an epiphany last night driving home. I realised that, hey, I spent 2 hours probably trying to get this in, and I had a few issues. But if we can get heat on the toes and heat on the screen, what more do you need, right? It would be nice to have the other things working at some point, but for now, let's just get it in. I need to be at dark side in like 3 hours. Let me check. Okay, so no, we've got about 4 hours before we need to leave to go to dark side. So we need to drive this car. We also need to bed the LSD in before driving it and change the oil. So that's about an hour's work. So let's say we've got 3 hours to get the interior back to go. Get the interior to something that I can drive it about 50 miles. So let's do that. All right, we need to use all the knowledge that we've gained to see if we can fix this issue of the cable. So if it was getting jammed before and we were trying to force it past the jam, that could have created a stress in the cable somewhere, right? So if you watch the cable, when I go, we're on face now, right? Can you see it? Face and feet. Just go to just feet. Watch the cable twinge. See the cable's moving so much. That's what we need to resolve.
Okay, to save you some more time here, there is no resolution here. I pissed about with this for ages, took it out, put it back in, tried to straighten it. Once these cables get a little kink in them, then yeah, they're pretty much done, right? I tried all I could and then finally threw the towel in after about another 40 minutes or so.
I mean, it's stuck on feet, face and feet, or demister and feet, which is probably the best combination. Oh, what a gift! What a gift to start the day!
Right, now we're out of that TISM trap. I got on with putting the rest of the interior together. So we're starting here with the faceplate for the heater controls. And then we're going to put the cluster back in. A few little screws here and there just to make sure the dashboard is secure. And I'm also reconnecting all the switches that sit on the right hand side of the steering wheels, such as the fog light switch and the cluster dimmer switch, I think is there too.
Let's just see if that works. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Look at that! I am a big dumb idiot, aren't I? Does it still work? Oh man. So the most annoying thing about this head unit is it starts in radio mode. It's very annoying. I've looked in the settings, can't seem to figure out how to... it's proper old school shite, you know.
Don't worry, we've got a new Atoto head unit to come later in this video.
Phone stand real low and then catch it at the last minute and bounce back up again.
Imagine if you got that wrong. It would have been humiliating.
That's it.
Over.
And I was watching it and I was going, this is as live, although it didn't go out live top of the pops. I think it did occasionally, but hardly ever.
Tweeters aren't working. Tweeters aren't working. Bent key's nice, isn't it? That's really good. Thanks for that. Maybe I'll get a spare. I can't really straighten it any more than that. Okay, so the final piece, well, hang on, no it's not. The final piece of the factory setup here is the cup holders. I'm getting worried that I've not put the carpet in yet. Let's put the carpet, hang on, let's pause. Cup holders maybe want a little bit of a clean. There's some chalky milk on there, I think. I hope it's chalky milk. You know what, if I, should I put a better radio in it? I don't have anything in stock. That's the kind of thing when I was a bit younger, I used to have like loads of spare radios and stuff. It'd be nice to have something like Pioneer or Alpine need to do like a retro radio which has all the modern stuff in it. You know, with like dolphins on the screen and all that. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Okay, this is where I lose time, because now I'm going to look at the wiring diagram to see what wire the tweeters are. Right, this is going to be the most simple diagram you've ever seen in your life. Oh, the polarizing filter's doing me an injustice there, but yeah, basically the tweeters and the speakers are linked anyway, so maybe they are working, just, I don't know, maybe the amplifier or something in the head unit's not tuned right or something. What am I going to do now? I'm going to drill a hole in the side of this for a cable tie, which will be nice and sharp. Now I'll deburr it. Deburr her? I barely knew her. Okay. Gauges. This is fun. This is going to be fun. Gauges are going to be fun. So why are gauges going to be fun? Well, I got this off Amazon, right? I got a couple, if you remember. Preferred this one. It didn't quite fit. I had to trim the edges off to get it to fit, and then make some little brackets here to hold it on at the front. But then at the rear, I wanted to keep this storage box, or at least a place to put things. I've lost the lid, but also I didn't want things coming back into the damaging this, and also I want to mount it at the rear. So I've got some rubber washers, some like that I've been using on other bits of the car and all that. There were like stands at the back, so when my sunglasses or anything, you know, it's not going to be anything. I'm not putting anything small here. Because what I don't want to happen is when I unleash, you know, 100 foot-pounds of torque, I don't want shit coming back out this way, right? But anyway, first job is to get stuff plugged in, and the sensor for the AFR is the shortest cable of them all, but I didn't have to extend it. And it should just clip in. It will be tight, so we'll do that last.
So yeah, just to confirm that, I didn't have to extend the wiring for the air-fuel ratio sensor. I did for the pressure sensor and the temperature, but the AFR was long enough, just.
Okay. So basically I'm trying to do the gauges at the same angle as the factory ones, which is about there. So, but if we space them too much, they point down. If we don't space them enough, they go up, right? So I'm trying to maintain the angle of the factory gauges, which is about there. So I've got a few of these rubber spacers, which I'll be using to do that. And also they'll help block stuff coming up the back passage. So that's probably going to be about right. So if I use, the grey is slightly harder than the red, but we'll not worry about it. Also stacking them's not great because they always try and piss off in different directions, but I don't really have an alternative right now. It is what it is. Let's just try it and see. Oh, problem. So there's a riv nut on the other side of that, of the plastic. It's plastic. There's not enough. Oh, actually, we got some longer bolts then. I know where there's some longer bolts. They're not mine, but we can take them because no one else is here. All right, I don't have any longer bolts. That's pretty long for an M6 anyway. We'll just have to put one in and maybe not tighten it down, you know. A big one and a small one, cardboard box. This bolt hole at the back's not lining up. There's like a rubber mat, which I want to keep because, you know, it's like a dampener for when you got your stuff in there, so if it rattles about, it doesn't rattle, you know. But yeah, making a hole in that was difficult, so I didn't really bother that much. I drilled through it, but the drill just kind of rips it. It doesn't really bore it out. How can I cut it out? Shank it, blood. Wait.
Rock on, Mikey!
There's a slight misalignment, which annoyingly I did actually spot before getting this far, but I didn't think it would be a problem. But here we are, experiencing the problem. Maybe we should make sure they work. Do I have a straight key anywhere? I liked the part where the gauges didn't come on. None of them came on. It's like they're not getting, none of them's getting power. That's fun. And the fuse box is not getting power. The relay's working, but the power isn't. I put an inline fuse in over here the other day, so I mean, that's definitely getting power. It's hot, that relay. There's no fuse in it. There's no fuse in it. Haha. You know why? Do you want to know why there's no fuse in it? Do you want to know why there's no fuse in that holder? Because that's revolution 2. Revision, sorry. That's revision 2. This is revision 1, which has got the fuse in it still. Haha. But that's good, because that means that the system works, right? So now we should have gauges. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy enough with the angle. Maybe a bit more tilt would be better, depending on where my head's going to be. Got a bit of reflection, but there's no roof on the car now, right? So when the roof's on the car, it'll be a lot better. Cool.
Alright, we're going to take a little bit of a segue here. You might have noticed that we didn't go to dark side for the dyno. Yeah, I missed that, had to cancel. Too busy with Bowden cables, I said. But I ended up spending some time now getting the air filter back on. You might remember I made a custom airbox for the race car MR2, and most of that is getting transferred over. Now we actually started here with one of my Discord members has set up his own company selling these MAF housing adapters, and he made me some custom ones to my own spec. We didn't end up running these in the end. He's got to iron some creases out, but yeah, definitely appreciate the effort. But I just couldn't make it work in the time that I had.
Hey, does anyone want to come and tidy up for me? My God. There's fucking state of that, man.
So if you haven't noticed yet, this video is crossing over into some of the other parts of this 4-part series, because this was by far the longest task. The biggest task was the interior. So yeah, we're about at the point now where I'd just driven the MR2 for the first time. And yeah, you know that story by now.
That's better. Look at that, I can see the floor. I can walk around without getting stuck on anything. But it is quite late, so see you tomorrow. Right, just got the car on here, warming up a bit. There's a bit of a weird noise, listen. Oh, I think it's just the exhaust. While that's just warming up a little bit, I'm going to prep the hardtop, ready to go back on. Matt did a really good job of prepping this, so much so that there's a million pieces of masking tape on this. Oh, we also need to wire in the demister. We need to create a loom. Create a little loom. It's only 2 wires.
Right, the prep for the hardtop is just going to be getting rid of the masking tape and then putting on the side bits of trim. So there's some trim which holds on the seal, and then there's going to be some trim around the edges as well, which is just kind of for aesthetics. So we're going to make all that nice again, ready to install.
So these are annoyingly on like oval sliders. I guess it's adjustable for a reason, but I'm just going to try and get them all kind of something like. Oh, another bullshit moment. Just, you know, oh, just stick the hardtop on, shall I? Well, these screws that hold the rubber seal in, this internal thread has just started spinning as I nearly got it down the channel. I don't know why. And yeah, I can't just ignore it. I need to get the bolt out. I've been trying to pry the bolt out and turn it whilst, you know, won't come out. So I'm going to try and cut it out and then get this off and then try and cut the stud flush. Try and cut the stud flush somehow. It's just fuck it. Why did that just happen, you know? Done. I'm just cutting the seal. Okay, oscillator wins again. What an amazing tool. I don't know why I bothered taking these off now, probably shouldn't have done, but how to put them back on. Peel off as much sealant as you can. Sneeze. Put a little bit of sealant back on. Put it face down onto your trousers. Insert, but leave the screws loose-ish. I'm missing a screw. I'm not going to cry about it.
Alright, I think I gave up on the tutorial at this point, but yeah, once you get all of those metal clips in with a little bit of sealant on, then I just started trying to force the seal over them, and it's pretty obvious to see what you need to do when you're in there. I don't think I took the time to show it on video, I'm afraid, but you'll figure it out.
This side doesn't fit as well as the other side. Oh well. Okay, we're done. I don't have this bit of it, so we're going to try and order something off Amazon.
of course. Oh, that's cold. Well, it's not cold, but it's definitely not. The car's been running for about 15 minutes. Put it in first gear. Obviously, it's just on the ramp though. Maybe I should have gone and done more figure of eights, but it's not horrible. And I thought it might have been black, you know, with the dust from the plates. But so I'm just changing the gearbox oil now after the LSD break-in. So with a brand new LSD, you know, there's certain braking procedures. We covered this in the last video, but following those procedures, there may be some nasty dust goes in the oil, right? Some bad metals that we don't want running around our gearbox. So we're changing the oil and putting fresh fluid in. Should have took the breather out the top first. Okay, it's time to put the gearbox oil back in. And obviously just put the panels back on, carpet in, seat in, harness in. Oh, it's fucking everywhere, man. I can't believe, I mean, all right, it is what it is, right? But I'm having to clean, you know what, off of my gearbox. After where I want to put the gearbox oil in currently has something else on it. That's what's going in. Torque parts. I was just trying to find a filter to put in, or to put on that. This is the fuel breather. That'll work, right? And then I'll see if there are any fuel pressure issues or the tank blows up. Okay, carpet. I'm gonna take the seat rails out. Just gonna give the interior a quick clean as well. Now I didn't remove this, so I don't really know how it goes in, but I'm sure we can work it out. Obviously I'm going to have to cut it around the roll cage, right? But so far so good. I think if I just do a slit down there, it might just fold around it. It's actually fitting a lot better than what I thought it would. So far anyway. There's these two pieces of padding which I don't know where they're supposed to go. Oh, there's an L. There's an L and an R. Hey, yeah, okay. Thanks, Toyota-san. And probably like that then. Somehow fits around the roll cage. I don't know how, but. So I was wondering why there's a high spot in the carpet there. But I think I figured it out. One hole's slightly bigger than the other, who cares? This thing's the wrong way around. If that was that way, this would be nice. There's a point here for the seatbelt to go on, but... Yeah, so there's actually a mounting point here for the seatbelt, but it's intended to be used with the stock seatbelt bar, which I didn't retain, and I think I took to the tip. I didn't figure this out until quite a lot of faffing about, as per usual, but we end up making a bracket later in the video. But for now, let's try and get a seat in. This seat needs a real good clean, maybe a retrim. So I last tried the XL seat and it was hitting here. Look at the difference. Technically, I'm too small for this seat. This is a Japan spec one. Right, unfortunately, this ended up being another time sink, just trying to get a seat in there where I'm comfortable. So this is a RECARO SPG from Japan. It's not an SPG N, but it is a Japanese model, and they're a little bit tight. I mean, I'm quite slim, right? But I've got really long legs, so I need a bit of knee room. You've heard me talk about this enough times on videos. But I really wanted to have the seat in simply because it was red, and I thought it'd be nice, a silver car with a red seat. Yeah, I know. But the problem I'm having is to try and get the seat far back enough that I've got leg room, then it's hitting the harness mount, or the old harness mount on the roll cage. You can sometimes see a bit of a mark where the old seat used to hit it when I was racing. So the back of the seat's sat on the roll cage thing. Fucking stupid long legs. I need to get to dark side. I'm running a bit late now. Still need to get the roof on. Now we've got a solution for that later, but for now I'm just trying to get any seat in, because once again I'm trying to make it down to dark side so I can get the exhaust fixed, but yeah, things didn't quite go to plan once again. The seat that I'm trying to fit now is another RECARO. This is from the M3. So the red seat was an SPG, this is a pole position, so they're slightly wider as your legs come out, and they're also not as high on the sides, so you can open your legs up a little bit more to get around the steering wheel, which is what I was doing whilst racing. But this is still a compromise, and it's not something that I want to live with at the Nürburgring.
Alright, I had to cancel dark side again. Rushing about there, trying to get ready, and obviously the seat didn't fit, but one of the bolts is knackered in the seat, and yeah, the roof mount things aren't happening, and also the quarter panel doesn't fit around the oil cooler anymore, even though I'm sure I've checked that and tested it, but now it doesn't fit anymore. So another evening on it. There's loads of flies around it because of the thing that happens. I just recorded an update there, but it was in slow motion. That's good, isn't it? Sums it up really, because that's how the preparation to go back to the Nordschleife has been in slow motion, hasn't it? Well, yeah, I've cancelled dark side, postponed once again. Very sorry, top messer I am now indeed. Yeah, so had to put this seat in instead. This is out of the M3. It's not the one that used to be in this car, but yeah, one of the bolts is knackered in it, so I need to fix that. The seat's also squiffy, which maybe that means I've got the rails on squiffy, I don't know. But it does fit potentially a bit better. Still very... fuck out my car, you fly bastard cunt, man. So many flies. I wonder why there's flies here then. Yeah, no doubt. Alright, I'll spend the evening then just going over the car again. Quarter panel doesn't fit as well now, which is nice. Something oil cooler. If you remember, it didn't fit with the oil cooler originally, so I modified all the brackets and now it does fit, but now it doesn't fit. I'm just going to plow on, no videos. I just need to get it done. I'm getting sick, man. Real sick. Oh yeah, the hazard switch doesn't work. I don't know if I said that already. Hey, just something slightly interesting. So I'm just trying to fix the thread on this seat, and yeah, it was nut and bolted from the back. I don't know how, I don't know if they glued it in or something, whoever had this seat before me, but yeah, it's not lasted, so I'll try a rib nut. I don't know if it'll work, but I was drilling it out and I was like, that's weird. What's going on here? And yeah, it's a nut and bolt. That's good, isn't it? Cool. Hey, so I just got everything nice on the seat and everything. Obviously the quarters back on and stuff, but bit of discussion and looking at the regs, and I don't actually need that bar that's in my way. And if I get rid of that, I can get really comfortable. So I'm going to cut it out. Oh yeah, I got the bar out and I'm painting that too. I haven't videoed for a little while because Chaos only just made it down here in time for, well, after work, you know. I've said I'm going to be coming down here like every day for the past 5 days or something, and the tuners are getting mad at me. They think I'm a messer. Well, maybe I am, but you know, it's just been fighting, hasn't it? But it's here. Drove down pretty good. Gearbox feels nice. LSD feels okay. The engine feels strong. I mean, obviously, you put a short ratio gearbox on anything, it's going to wake it up a bit, right? And that's definitely what's happened. So we're just fixing the exhaust now, or Tom is. Hammer my tip. Thank you. Okay, resumption of interior activities. So I drove the car a little bit. I've done about, not quite, but almost 100 miles. Got a few teething problems, a few things to address. The first one is actually safety, because the seatbelt hook that I had on was not good. You might have already realised if you're an MR2 enthusiast, but of course the roof's on now, which makes everything nice and easy to do. And you can't see it, but there was this hook, right? There was a little hook with a bolt thing with a hole in it, and I attached my seatbelt loop to that. And no, that was not for the seatbelt. That was for the seatbelt bracket, which I threw in the tip. Goodbye. So I'm just making another one. I got this 5mm steel plate. Should be more than good enough. I've just been to our local bolt shop and got a 7/16 UNF nut so we can attach it properly and it'll still be able to move, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time. So I'm gonna get this in. All right, just a little test fit, but you get the idea, right? So there was no retraction before, and I was like, if I like leant over or anything, or if I extended the belt, I mean, first of all, like leaning over the belt wouldn't really want to extend.
which now obviously it's doing nice and free. Yeah, it was dangerous, very dangerous, especially with no like harness. This is the secondary, you know, the harness will be in here as well soon, but yeah, a little bit sketchy, man, but this will be a lot better. I've just had the roof on and off a couple of times because I'm trying to fill this gap. Can you see the gap? So that's because the roll cage is fitted too far. Oh, I've just scratched the door as well, taking the roof on and off, which I was really quite sad about actually, but I've got over it now. Whatever, it's happened now, isn't it? The issue is the cage is mounted too far back, quote unquote. So the lip of the rear screen where the fiberglass comes in actually sits on the cage, and yeah, causes this gap. And I'm not sure if there's a factory seal that I'm missing or something, or you know, I've just peeled back the actual factory one there that runs round. Look, yeah, I'm going to try a Bezos seal. I'll get a Bezos seal delivered. I just measured it, and at the largest point, it's an 8mm gap, and it's around between 6 and 8mm all the way around. So I'm gonna get a generic Amazon kind of door seal and see if we can make it work. The side, these here, that fresh outer one, that's a Bezos seal. That's not great. What I've been doing tonight is, well, I've been getting into this lately. I can't play it so much in Lemme. So I've been doing this tonight, which is, well, this is the terminal adapter pin, and then this is the little computer. Oh yeah, I've got a horn button in here too, which we'll try, Momo. Yeah, so I've been doing a little bit of electricals. Obviously I've got this big workbench, and I left myself a little sliver there to do everything, but it's been fine. So this is going to be the sensor inputs from the AEM stuff, and they're going to this board, and that board will send it to Race Chrono. So I'm hopefully going to test this tonight before the end of the night. Look, resistings. Just a little update for you. It's the 11th of June. This has been going on for far too long. I've just taken the quarter panel off again because I got a gift the other day from Ruben at Darkside. This was on their Swift Sport when they bought it. It's a motor intake, and yeah, we need to get to Darkside and do some dyno testing, but I'm hoping to kind of put that in here somewhere, and it'll be, you know, for one, we'll have a longer intake. Oh, I'm on the 2.5%ers. Yeah, this may not make as much power as the I've got that set up real nice now, so we'll test that, but this will be a more reliable setup because, you know, if we can get it into the scoop, you know, that's just what I'm looking at right now. It's not really interior related. On the interior, I've been through, I think, I don't know, hundreds of builds on this Arduino trying to get it right. I'm fucking really getting sick of it, you know? Really getting quite sick of it. But the annoying thing right now, there's a little release here for the petrol cap. Little release on there, and it's stuck. And so I follow the cable, and you know, the cable goes under the carpet and, you know, down to the pull release down there, and yeah, for some reason it's stuck. Yeah, obviously I must have routed the cable wrong or something, or I don't know. But I've just had some grips on it there, and with all my might I can't get the cable back out. So, I mean, even to just look at the cable on the other side, I've got to take the carpet back out, which obviously means the seat's got to come out, which... it's just been like this forever. The past few weeks have just been like this forever. Like, I try and do something and there's like 10 things in the way, and I have to undo everything and do it all again, and just it's just real sad, man. It's like I should have been at the ring like 2 weeks ago. Easy. I should have been at the ring all of June, you know, having a good time. I was worried that I didn't have time to get started on this for the track day. There's no way this can now make the track day. I mean, the silver lining, this will be the track day vehicle, I guess, and I can try and do like, get as close to 8 minutes as what I can in a track day environment, which is, you know, good, I guess. But also that this was, I was wanting to go real fast in that, and there's got no chance now. So yeah, feeling good. Yeah. This doesn't fit, unfortunately. The fuel's in the way. It would have been nice. I mean, I could probably make something like that work, maybe. It's gonna be worthwhile or not, you know. I'll probably just run the setup that I've got and just run it. Yeah, okay. Hey, I got good news. Well, I've given up on the computer thing. You wouldn't believe how many hours I've got in that. I'll try a different board maybe, because that one was fucking stupid. That's
fucking smarter than me, are you? Well, you might be, but you can't fucking do it, could you? The other good news is I've figured out what was going on with my cable for the release door. So I peeled this back, and this was another Bowden core. Aye, another Bowden cable story for you. Aye, we got the Bowden car. I'm fucking losing it, man. So I basically trapped it here behind where I put the seatbelt anchor. There's the eyelet there. I'd basically trapped the cable behind there, and it wasn't happy, but now it's happy. Look, hello. Oh, look at me. I'm so happy in that eye. So I've been playing around with this computer mostly. I mean, that's been a big time sapper. I've got it something like now. So I don't know if I've really mentioned what it is I'm trying to achieve, but basically I fitted these AEM gauges, and I wanted some gauges to tell me stuff. But I also wanted to track and log that information in Race Chrono, so that after I've done, you know, a few laps of the ring or whatever, I can look back at the data and have an idea of what was going on. So yeah, this is a little board. I've changed it now, I've upgraded. I had what did I have before? ESP32 dev kit, and it was all right, but I was fighting it for ages with some Bluetooth issues, and it just wasn't really suitable for what I needed. And this is now a very tiny, look, the actual blue thing's the actual board. Excuse the, I mean, I've never made anything like this before, right? So I'm learning, it's the first time and all that. But yeah, if I start the car now, so Race Chrono will connect to that device. Yeah, I've got 2 out of the 3 sensors about right. They're not perfect. If you look there, oil pressure says 54 psi. And on here it says 11 psi, so that's not quite right. But look, the AFR scaling's almost there. AFR looks pretty good, and the temp is just a degree higher here than what it is there, okay? But it's pretty close, I'm getting there, but you know, obviously I've still got a few gremlins. But man, like, you wouldn't, maybe you would believe, but the amount of hours that I've spent doing this, I could have edited so many, I could have done so much. It's been interesting, obviously I've been interested in it, and that's why I've been doing it ultimately, right? Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. I'm gonna remake this with some different terminals and stuff. I'm gonna try and make a better job, because I've got some gremlins going on, and I've tried to work around it in the code, but ultimately, you know, hardware gremlins, they'll never go away, will they? So I'm gonna try and fix, I'm gonna remake the board again. This is already like the 4th or 5th one I've made, but whatever. But I'm gonna give up for today. I'm gonna do some more interesting stuff. I'm gonna actually finish the interior today. We've got a gift. Every now and again, being YouTube man, I get emails from companies, you know, wanting to basically advertise products, or, you know, have a collaboration or a bit of scratchy. Maybe we've got something that you might like, that kind of deal. And you know, it's worked out pretty well in the past. Talk GT, where are you? Do we not have a Talk GT banner? Well, there we go. Dark Side obviously works, well, that was an expensive side skirt, but you know, you might notice there's not that many adverts on this channel. I'm not gonna go, did you take out that car finance a couple of years ago because you fucking, guess what, mate, you get some money, but I'm not gonna do any of that stuff, right? I don't really like any of that myself, so why would I do it to you? Anyway, this email landed about the right time. This is a company called Atoto, from China. It's an Android head unit, which obviously there's a lot of people making these, but I'd actually heard of this brand. I've seen it in cars and stuff, and you might remember we do actually have donated to us an Android head unit, but it's from back in the day, like it's a really old thing. But this is interesting to me because front and rear dash cam support, which I've never run a dash cam on a car before, but I thought for the Nürburgring it would be nice to have a dash cam. Now, dash cams are actually illegal in Germany, which is a bit of a grey area for when you're on track, because obviously you can record on, I don't know, it's a bit of a grey area for sure, but we're just going to ignore that I said that. Obviously we won't run it on the road. There's some weird, I don't know what the rules are exactly, but I don't think you're allowed to have dash cams running all the time in Germany. But anyway, this is an Android head unit, so what I'm hoping to be able to do, and this is untested, what I'm hoping to be able to do is run Race Chrono through that. If not, it's still going to be a very nice addition to the car, especially with the, you know, recording facilities and all that. And yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. I don't know, obviously nice to have stuff sent over, and we'll test it out and see if it's any good. So that's going to be today's task, but also I need to finish off. A lot of this in here is still left because I'm still obviously pissing about with that computer so much. So putting the fuse box under there seemed like a good idea at the time, but I tell you what, I'm fucking regretting it now. It fits really well, and obviously it's out of the way, but while I'm still in the build phase, let's say. It's a fucking pain in the ass getting down there, I tell you. But yeah, I just need to finish off a few things. Obviously, we're gonna have to run wires for like the dash cam to the back and stuff like that. I've got a wire in the rear, the hardtop demister thing. I've got a new seal for the hardtop, which hopefully will actually seal it. We'll see. I don't know about that. Obviously, the glove box is missing, bit of trims and stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise, the interior, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm hopefully going to be able to find a way. I might have to. You might notice something's missing here. I might have to get rid of this one as well. I'm thinking, how am I going to get 4 wheels and tyres to the Nürburgring, right? I need to take them in this car. Can I get them in here? That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, the answer's no, actually, I can't. With the roof off, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get 2 in there, but do I want to take the roof on and off to get wheels in and out? I don't think I do. That's annoying. I mean, if this bar wasn't there, it might be a little bit easier, but maybe what I'll do is, because they do fit in here, just about. Come on. Although I've not got the door bar in yet, so maybe I don't fit the door bars until I get there or something, but I can get 1, 2, and maybe I can put my luggage and stuff there instead. There's fuel pump and ECU here, so I don't want to. I thought tyres would be a nice little numb thing to put there and not have to worry about, but yeah, so I've got stuff to do anyway, but I'm hopefully going to the Nürburgring a week on Monday is the next available opportunity to go. So only about a month after I wanted to be there, but whatever. It's been a long time since I've fitted a radio in a, well, obviously we did the from before, but you know what I mean. Like a nice new product and all that. Everything's labelled real good here, but I don't have these ISO connectors. But from the old head unit, it did have this little adapter thing here which fits, and most of the wire colours are the same, just the speaker wires are different. There's only there's only front speakers in the MR2. You've got these in the door. I am thinking about also putting better speakers in, but we'll see how this goes first. I know. We'll see how we get on anyway. So just getting the head unit working is pretty simple, and then we'll plug the cameras in, and I think I've even got like microphone and stuff for calling people, but I don't know if I'll bother. I don't know if I'll bother with that. What's this? Cables. Yeah. All right, let's have a quick test. So pretty simple to wire in. I could have bought a harness, but it was too simple. One of the reasons I liked the idea of this is because it's got physical buttons for volume and power and stuff. So let's see if it works. Looks like it's going to work. Fingers crossed. Pending doesn't look very good, does it? You're pending for a while there, sir. How about installing? Can I interest you in installing? Well, it looks like it works. Nice. Well, it's quite late on a Tuesday evening. I'm hoping to go to the ring in a week's time. I had a haircut today in preparation, yeah. And the interior is nearly there. It's still not quite there though. Wow. Takes so long trying to do things nice, right? Or proper, as some people might say. Not me. I am not that person, but it's coming along. It's coming along. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I've obviously just been doing stuff, you know? Hey, look at that. Ooh. Ooh. Just, yeah, you know, we'll get there. Oh yeah, this is fun. I put this tarp over the interior for, you know. And it must have had some, like, paint on it. I think it's from when I was painting the mezzanine. And, yeah. Must have smudged it in with my ass. A lot of it hoovered up, but some of it smudged into the cotton of the seat, so that's cool. Yeah. Well, I made another board, slightly cleaner. I bought some better tooling and stuff, and yeah, it works the same. I actually found an issue in the code. Oh yeah, we're developers now. Haha.
Right, you've made it to the end, so thanks for that. I didn't actually do any real good outro for this video. As you've probably guessed as you've watched it, it's been quite chaotic, and it was a couple of months stitched together into one big video. But yeah, it was up and down quite a lot whilst putting the MR2 back together to go back to the Nürburgring. I missed all of the deadlines. Remember, I was trying to get the car there ahead of time so I could come back and then prepare the M3 for this track day that I was doing at the end of June. Well, in the end, the MR2 only just made that track day, and I've got another video to come just going through some last bits. That video is a lot more structured, and it'll be a little bit shorter as well. It'll be a lot shorter, so yeah, thanks for sticking with me through this one. So you can see the car is pretty much there in this clip. I'm just looking at the engine bay as well. I've got my air filter and my old exhaust set up. I couldn't decide whether or not I liked it with the airbox lid on or off. I did do some testing just on the road with monitoring intake air temps and stuff, and didn't really find much of a difference. I think I ended up leaving it on in the end. So this is a later video that I took that I actually already uploaded to YouTube a couple of months ago, giving a quick update. So I'm just going through the car here briefly and some of the features. You can see the little computer there inside that Wix box. The glove box, yeah, you've got to ask it a couple of times to close. It does close and it is still a usable space, but yeah, slightly less than ideal. I've got my GPS. That's a little box behind the gauges. All the gauges are wired in and good to go. We've got the lighting rigged up for the feet. You'll see more about that in the heel and toe video. I did actually film a heel and toe video. That was in Germany, so that's to come. But yeah, I was really happy with pretty much everything inside. The head unit worked really well. I had a few issues with the dash cam, mostly related to me using a cutoff switch, and it was trying to record. You know, it was trying to use a low power mode thing to record if there's any accidents whilst I was parked up or something. But after disabling that, it got a lot better. But the actual race chrono and CarPlay, and you know, as a little computer, it was really good. So yeah, I was really happy with this. This is the Atoto X10. I'll put a link in the description if you want to have a look. So yeah, like I said, there's one more video to come with some preparations. It's going to be a lot shorter video. That'll be along next week. And then following on from that, we'll be in Germany. So I'll see you there. Oh, just as a final note, just wanted to say thanks to all the Patreons who have stuck around this year. This year's obviously been quite different than before. The content has maybe been struggling from it. But yeah, appreciate everyone who stuck around and anyone else who's joined this year.